Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new, welcome. Hope you like what you see. If so, consider liking, subscribing, whatever. So as usual, we're just going to get right into it. We're going to talk about a rifle today that I believe personally gets a lot of undue hate, and that rifle is the M16A2. So the M16A2 entered service with the Marine Corps at about 1983. Surprisingly, one of the rare instances where the Marine Corps actually adopted something before the other branches. That has to do with who helped in designing and making the changes to the M16 platform to create the A2. And surprise, surprise, it was a Marine. So a lot of the guys that I hear kind of shitting on the A2 are a lot of guys like myself who were never in the military. You talk to any Marine, in fact, I work with a guy now who is a retired Marine, loves it, loves the A2. And honestly, again, I don't understand why the A2 gets a lot of hate, because a lot of people compare it to the A1, and the A2 is obviously an improvement to the A1. Otherwise, why adopt it? And let's get into that stuff real quick. I'm not going to get super in the weeds on it because I'm not a historian, and yeah, I'm not going to be an encyclopedia on these things. So one of the first improvements is the flash hider. We can see we're closed down here. We have closed tines up front. We have these ports at the top. So shooting from prone, you don't get nearly as much dust kicked up in your face or whatever. Also, the A2 provides somewhat of a muzzle compensating effect. I think that was really more of a positive that they weren't really going for, if I had to guess. But the front sight, going off to that squared front sight post, I prefer that personally over the A1. It might be just a personal preference. One of the biggest complaints I think people make is the barrel, because the barrel is heavier than the original A1. The A1 was like, or the regular M16 and the A1 were a lightweight barrel. So the rifle is lighter, but if you look at it, it's less than a pound heavier with the A2. So if you can't handle less than a pound extra weight, you probably need to go to the gym.
Yeah, buddy! Weight, baby!
But the bigger reason for improving the barrel, they made it thicker up here. That's what we now know as like a government profile. You'll see a lot of AR-15s that will be lighter weight under the handguards, and then right around up here where the gas block journal is, it gets a little fatter and continues pretty much all the way to the muzzle. So that's part of where your weight's coming from, and it does hold its accuracy as it gets hotter a lot better. So there's a lot of benefits to it. The biggest one I think of is the twist rate. So the original M16s and A1s were a 1 in 12 twist, which pretty much only handles lightweight bullets well. I mean, there's probably going to be some of you guys, some old fuds, and like, wow, my hand loads, blah 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 bullet, I get sub MOA. I'm like, cool, good for you. In general, with ball ammo that was issued, this rifle is going to shoot more things probably quite a bit better. But part of this change for the twist rate was the introduction of M855 ammo, which came out the year before this rifle. So the twist rate was done so it would have better accuracy at longer distances, stabilizing the longer and heavier 62 grain ammunition. Next, the handguards. So a lot of guys say that they prefer, the A1 handguards, the triangles, and a lot of those guys are just going off the looks or for the vibes, which I get. But in actual practice, the round handguards, way better. Way better. I do have a dissipator that is set up as an A1. We might do that in another video. But I don't necessarily dislike that rifle, but I much prefer my A2 with these round handguards. I feel like it dissipates heat better. It's more comfortable. It's ribbed for our pleasure, where the triangular A1 handguards, they're just slick. So you'll see on that one, if we do a video of that, I have wrapped it up with some goon tape just to give me a little traction, because otherwise your hand just slides around. Not a big fan of that. One of my other favorite things is the rear sights on the A2. These rear sights are some of the best out of pretty much any military rifle that I've ever shot or owned. There's a lot of guys that make claims like, oh, well, the special forces like the A1 because this is fragile and can get bumped and lose zero. I'm gonna call bullshit on that. So probably the silliest complaint I ever hear from civilian use M16A2s is people bringing up the select fire on these things. Well, when they went to the A2, they went from safe, semi, 3-round burst. So they got rid of full auto, which I'll agree is kind of goofy. I'm not really a big fan of 3-round burst. It's fun, but full auto's funnier, or full auto's more fun. But this is a civilian gun, so you don't have 3-round burst. You don't have full auto. It's a moot point. It's something really, really silly to bring up when we're talking about these things. So real quick, I just want to showcase a little bit of how soft these rifles shoot. Obviously, we've got a rifle link gas system, which helps. I believe I read that the M16A2 comes in at about 7.8 pounds unloaded with no magazine. I did weigh this rifle, and with no mag, I was right at 8 pounds. So that probably has something to do with a slight variance in the barrel contour from Aero Precision. But either way, we've got some, I believe the first round is just some leftover M193 ball. The rest of them are M855. This is all Lake City stuff, so this is full pressure. Forward assist, that round button. I kind of wish they did stay with the teardrop because that one's my favorite. But here we go. So very flat shooting rifle. A little bit more violent than a gun that I would have like a break on, but honestly, for a bone stock rifle with just an A2 flash hider, these things are a dream to shoot. We've got our vintage tactical load-bearing vest. These things started getting issued around '88, so plus it's in God's plaid, so I think it's the most fitting for this rifle. Let's just try and get a 1R1 in, or a few of them, out of this and see how quick we can do that. Let me get my timer turned on. .491, not too bad. I've actually never ever used this thing to do 1R1s. Also, we are at 50 yards with the velocity that we get out of this barrel. With this 55 grain ammo, it is very, very hard on steel targets. So 50 is about as close as I like to shoot this thing on steel. But let's try another one. I did that really dumb. And the time showed it. Let's try one more. Ooh, 3.81. That's actually not too bad. All right, we've stepped up quite a bit closer. Make sure I have at least 6 rounds left. We're gonna do a bill drill just with the iron sights, see how quick we can do and how well we can do. Here we go. That was 1.28. Pretty good. I think we have enough to do one more. Let's do one more, see if we can get faster than that. Woo! 1.38, a little bit slower, but let's go take a look at that target. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe this one was 6. So still pretty concentrated, again, for a rifle that with just a flash hider and iron sights. Now this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I did drop one down here. This right here was my second run. That's pretty incredible for a base, almost like a military issue style rifle with no upgrades other than maybe the trigger. So we're just going to talk about this rifle in particular. So this one is one that I put together personally. I did not, nothing on this was sent to me for free. No part of this gun is it's not like a complete lower, complete upper, anything like that. I put everything on this thing together myself. So as of right now, we're rocking, as we know, the A2 flash hider. This will probably get replaced with one of the KAK Industries A2 Plan B muzzle devices because I do like to suppress this gun. The barrel is a ballistic advantage. I really like ballistic advantage barrels. I've had pretty good luck with them. This one's just regular chrome moly vanadium steel, and it is nitrided. So I do like to always have some sort of like nitride or chrome lining when I'm talking about a gun like this. It just helps the barrel last a little bit longer. I've been getting, honestly, pretty good accuracy out of this rifle and this barrel. So right here, I was confirming 0 just the other day. We've got a group there that was shot with 75 grain match, some of the Frontier stuff. Size of the group is, granted I shot it at 50 yards, so the size of the group is around ½ an inch, probably a little bit more, maybe like 0.6. So with iron sights, and I believe I was using the big ghost ring there from a rest, and so that's putting us around 1 MOA between. We'll be mean to the A2 for the sake of you guys that hate this thing. We'll say 1.5 MOA. That's pretty damn good for iron sights, and especially me with my goofy eyes. Back from there, our upper is actually an LMT upper. I actually scored this thing on Brownells years ago. This is actually the first carry handle rifle that I ever built, and yeah, the Brownells had some complete, I believe, DPMS uppers, or just like with the sights in them already, and they were over 100 ball hairs. This LMT, being a blim, was like 80 or 90 ball hairs, so I was like, I am most definitely going to buy the LMT over the DPMS. I don't think you guys would blame me for that one. All right, so under the hood, we've got a BCM BCG. I got this one used from a buddy because he had burnt the gas rings up in it, and he was just like, man, I'm gonna throw this away. I'm like, gas rings are cheap, bud. So I got it for cheap, replaced the gas rings. It's been great. BCM makes great stuff. We've of course got a standard charging handle on there. That is another thing I think that it was a vast improvement when they went to the A2 over the A1 style charging handles. Not a big fan of those. The A2, they also reinforced the lowers, which I don't know if that was really necessary, but they did, so whatever. But this thing, I don't know if you guys recognize that symbol there. This is a Rifle Dynamics lower. So I know they've made some lowers since I got this one, but when I got this one, they had made lowers, but it was like 10 years ago, and they made 100 of them. Then they did another run of them, made 100 more, and I got one of that batch. So this is a serial number between 100 and 200. But Rifle Dynamics, love those guys. Taken one of their AK classes as far as build classes, and it's been, my rifle's been great. This thing's been great. And then under the hood here, for the trigger, we have got a LaRue MBT with a 4.5 pound trigger pull. Really, really nice triggers. I actually prefer these LaRues for a 2-stage trigger over the Geisseleys. I know that's a lot of people are going to freak out about that. The LaRues are machined tool steel. The Geisseleys are cast. The LaRue has a much more pronounced, much crisper 2nd stage break than the Geisseleys. All the Geisseleys I've shot, it just seems to roll through that 2nd stage. So I don't really care for it. The reason why I went ahead and threw that trigger in here is I had pulled it out of another gun, and I kind of had it laying around. And again, I love this rifle, so I felt it deserved a little bit better trigger. But I will say, if you're just running and blasting, you're not going to notice the benefits of a 2-stage trigger. You should probably just go to a single. So before we get too far away, these handguards are OG Colt handguards. This stock, you might notice it's slightly discolored. This is a Colt stock. So it does have some original Colt parts. I believe maybe the front sight post is also Colt. Actually, it does have a C stamp on it. So yeah, some Colt parts. Other than that, it's just basic bone stock, mil spec, pretty much everything. I don't know if you guys can hear just how smooth this rifle is. That thing is just butter on this thing. All right, back here at 50, let's run a little action off this barricade on some of my steel targets down there. We're gonna start with one of my C zones, and then I've got an 8-inch gong. And yeah, we'll just run a little course of fire with this thing, with this old school gear. All right, let's see. Let's shoot through. The top of this is kind of broken off, but we'll use that as one of the ports. And we'll try and get one hit per hit per window on the 8-inch, and then I'll come out of there once I get that done and put a few rounds on the C zone. So here we go. That was a good hit. I think that might have been a miss. Hit. Hit. Oh yeah. Not bad. All right, let's up the stakes a little bit. Now we're over with my other C zone. I believe it's either it's around a 4 or a 5-inch gong. We'll kind of do the same thing. So I'm gonna have to really concentrate better on getting my hits on that small target. So we're gonna throw another reload in there just because it makes things interesting. Ooh, this is awkward as shit. I think that was a hit. That was a hit, knocked the target off. Not bad. All right, we're gonna kick it up a little bit more. I've got my Texas Star down here, 50 yards again. Those paddles are 3/8, so they should be rated for this, especially from this distance. So there will be some reloads in here, but I'm not gonna start moving around from port to port. I'm just gonna see if I can get them all with iron sights from back here. All right, got a round loaded. Not doing so well. Nice. With a few rounds to spare. I was starting to think I wasn't going to get it, but a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be, but we still pulled it off. All right, just for shits and giggles, I threw a little PWS A2 style brake on there. Let's really see how quick and we can run this rifle. Got a round loaded. Oh my God. There's no recoil, none at all. Oh yeah. Got a hit on that 4-inch gong. Awesome. But part of the reason why I love the M16A2 so much is it came about in the 80s just like me. That's right, I'm old. But this rifle, you know, growing up, if I saw any news stories of the military, this is what they had. A lot of the action movies I watched growing up, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you name it. it was this rifle. Also, the very first experience I ever had with an AR-15 period, my dad had an old Colt SP1, so that was actually pre-A1, completely slick side, but he had swapped the Handguards out to the A2 style because they are better. But anyway, yeah, I mean, for a long time, this is basically what I associated AR-15 with, was the M16A2. This thing is super, super iconic. I absolutely love it. There's a reason why it was the first carry handle that I ever built. So anyway, there you have it. If you agree that the M16A2 is probably the king of the carry handle muskets, let me know in the comments, or if you really disagree, let me know in the comments. Let me know why. And if you say wait, I'm still going to bring up that you need to go to the gym and probably eat a cheeseburger too. So anyway, if you like what you saw, didn't like what you saw, and like to argue, but just like, share, comment, whatever. I hope to see you in the next video.